Representative Luna absolutely explodes at Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota and accuses him of ties to the Chinese Communist Party.
Sir, just to you, so that you're tracking, actually had an internal memo that was released that stated that the government of China considered you a prime target for influence operations. I'm letting you know that now because I do believe that you should be made aware of, if you are not already. Now that I've made you aware that these riots are not about illegals and they're not about immigrants. If they did, they would have been protesting under Barack Obama, who's also dubbed the deporter-in-chief. And frankly, I think many of you would say that Barack Obama was a good president. Are you going to say that Barack Obama wasn't a good president? Yes or no, Governor Walz? Do you think he was a good president?
Do I think Barack Obama was a good president? I think he did a good job.
Okay, and when you use brown people, just like they use black people with BLM and Marxists during BLM to usher that in, when you use brown people and you put Mexican flags with them saying that you stand up for illegal immigrants, but you follow the money and it's going back to the Communist Party, what you're essentially doing is using your platform as elected officials, the trust that the American people have put in you, essentially to usher in communism. You're not actually fighting for American values. Don't roll your eyes because it's a serious topic and that's where the money's coming from.
Recognizes Ms. Luna
Mr.
from
Chairman,
Florida.
point of inquiry, did you skip me in the order on purpose? Just curious.
It must have been an oversight, Mr. Moskowitz.
Well, this is the
Chair
oversight
recognizes
committee,
Ms.
which
Luna.
has lots of oversight.
Gentlemen, please.
Chair recognizes Ms. Luna.
Just, suppressing free speech.
It's Ms. Luna.
Thank you very
You're
much, Chairman. First and foremost, I would like to take this opportunity to educate the American people on what's really happening right now with these riots. So I see right now there's a lot of back and forth and finger pointing, but the fact is that there is a financial tie to these riots, tied to immigration, that actually leads right back to the Communist Chinese Party. Straight up, the LA riots have been organized by an organization dubbed PSL, the Party for Socialism and Liberation, funded by billionaire Chinese activist Neville Singham, who spends part of his year by living in Shanghai. In addition to that, although he is not a registered foreign agent, he accepts a lot of money from the CCP and then turns around and funnels it right into some of these violent protests that we're seeing. But it doesn't just stop there. This is not the only organized protest that's using brown people and immigrants as a ruse to push their communist and Marxist agenda. Mr. Walz, thank you for coming in today to testify, or Mr. Walz. Real quick, is it true, yes or no, that you are speaking at the June 14th Twin Cities No King rally?
I can't confirm that right now. That could be true.
Okay. Just so you know, they're advertising you speaking there.
Okay.
The graphic's actually on X right now. I'd be happy to provide it for you, so I'll take that as probably speaking. Is it true also, I know on your campaign that you had admitted to visiting China anywhere from 15 to 30 times, sir? Yes or no, please?
I did live in China. And
No, visiting, sir, in addition to living there and in addition to having,
that's correct.
All right, also too, I'd like to note that during your time in Congress that you filed for a $5 million earmark that actually was secured. $2 million of it went to the Harmel Institute that actually collaborated with the Wuhan Institute. Also, the Department of Homeland Security, sir, just to you, so that you're tracking, actually had an internal memo that was released that stated that the government of China considered you a prime target for influence operations. I'm letting you know that now because I do believe that you should be made aware of, if you are not already, that you are working with and going to be speaking at an organization and rally that not is just funded by Christy Walton, the heiress of Walmart, but also has ties to the Chinese Progressive Association, largely funding it, that actually brags on their website that they are pro-Maoist. Also, too, funded by the National Endowment for Democracy. I know there's a lot of people on this committee that don't like billionaires interfering in politics, but say nothing when George Soros gets over $260 million from USAID through the last administration that's then funneled into some of these nonprofits and organizations. So I guess my question for you guys is, now that I've made you aware that these riots are not about illegals and they're not about immigrants, if they did, they would have been protesting under Barack Obama, who's also dubbed the deporter-in-chief. And frankly, I think many of you would say that Barack Obama was a good president. Are you going to say that Barack Obama wasn't a good president? Yes or no, Governor Walz? Do you think he was a good president?
Do I think Barack Obama was a good president? I think he did a good job.
Okay, how about you, Governor Pritzker?
I think he did a good job. Yes.
Hochul,
and yes, he did do a good job.
Okay, next. Perryman?
I think President Obama did a good job.
So then you would understand that Barack Obama had the very same policies for the most part on immigration that Republicans are parroting today, and yet you guys are sitting here saying that we're Gestapo. And what I would tell you is that what happens with open borders is that the real people that are coming here, the ones that are exploited, actually it hurts people on both sides, not just Americans, but the illegals. Some of you had said here to the actual committee that you are doing what you can to assist these people. But what I would say is that your policies aren't actually done from a place of understanding and sympathy. I would say that it's actually doing the exact opposite. And when you use brown people, just like they use black people with BLM and Marxists during BLM to usher that in, when you use brown people and you put Mexican flags with them saying that you stand up for illegal immigrants, but you follow the money and it's going back to the Communist Party, what you're essentially doing is using your platform as elected officials, the trust that the American people have put in you, essentially to usher in communism. You're not actually fighting for American values. Don't roll your eyes, because it's a serious topic and that's where the money's coming from. So now I'm informing you, so now you guys can make your decisions, but please be informed, sir, Mr. Walz, that if you truly do uphold the American ideologies and perspectives on the Constitution, you should not be speaking at that rally. I've given you the correct information, and as of right now, I've authorized a letter to be sent to my office to the President of the United States to rescind millions of dollars in funding that we know are going to the No Kings protests that were authorized and basically given under the last administration. That is what Congress is supposed to do, not point fingers, not blame people, but actually ensure that the American people are protected and not fighting for foreign interests, foreign governments, and also the communist
Will the gentlelady yield for a question?
No.
You don't want to tell us what your evidence is of all this connections?
Actually, no, I will yield to that.
I appreciate
Mr. Goldman, you'll get 5 minutes
take
in a
your
minute.
word
Let me answer
for
the
it,
question.
but
Let me answer
you'll
the question.
appreciate we might want actual evidence.
I would be happy to provide that, and I'd also be happy to inform Chairman that actually we have a letter of which you can sign on to. I know you like to sign on to letters with us, especially on the Epstein stuff. But we actually have a letter going out to Neville Singham on Friday, and it's actually signed by every single member of Oversight. I'd like to extend that to you because that letter is calling him to testify, and it's also calling for his financial transactions. And do you agree, sir, that we should not be accepting money from the Communist Chinese Party? I think anyone on this platform would agree that that should not be accepted, correct?
I would like for you to actually present evidence rather than just, quote, inform the witnesses. And now that they're informed, they should assume that
I
what
don't
you
disrespect
say is
you. I'm
true
going to answer your question.
when
We are having a hearing on it where we can present all the evidence.
Order.
No, but let's have this
Yeah,
dialogue.
go ahead. You're recognized, Ms. Luna.
We are going to be having a hearing, and you can gavel on to the hearing. I'd appreciate you to do it because the fact is that the Democrat Party, remember,
Is it going to be as good as the Biden impeachment hearing?
Mr. Goldman, you'll have 5 minutes in a moment.
Let's focus real quick.
Well, Mr.
I'd
Chairman,
like to
she's
go
out of
a step
time. I just think
further.
you're trying not to let me talk.
Guys, if you guys want to talk about it, I'll answer the question. But Mr. Singham is also funding Code Pink through his wife.
You know, it's my turn.
And
Can we ask Elon to divest
know
from
you
China
know
while we're at
The
it?
lady's time's
There's ties
expired. The
there.
lady's
Thank you
time's
very much. We'll
expired.
be having the hearing. Y'all are invited.
you
We
go.
might have you guys
All right,
back.
thank you. Before we go to votes, which have been called, I'm going to recognize Mr. Donalds for unanimous consent.
Mr. Chairman, I want to submit a letter into the record from Congressman Richie Torres to Governor Hochul, speaking specifically about that the Penn Station Center is actually being led by MTA, where the chairman is actually appointed by the governor of New York, and the cost overruns are $7 billion.
How do we get to such a state where the people who are elected look after their own constituents, don't give a damn? They're gonna do whatever the heck benefits themselves at the behest of their own constituents. If you ask me, Tim Walz is just another cog in the deep state machine. This man just repeats whatever he's told to repeat, do whatever he's told to do, say whatever he's told to say. He has no thoughts of his own. He has got no backbone or spine. Just take one look at his face. He'll tell you everything you need to know about the man. I mean, what does it say about you if your own mother, your own family don't vote for you in the general election? So that goes to show how off the deep end this man truly is. And I'll tell you what, it would not surprise me if there are links between him and China. And it's not only him. Almost half the people in DC today that there might be a link between them and foreign government. And for those people who say, oh, Tim Walz is good, he's just a bad speaker, he doesn't get his points out well. If you want to know how capable he is as a governor, just look at Minnesota. Look at the headline after headline of Minnesota practically on fire. They don't enforce laws. They treat illegal immigrants better than their own native-born American citizens. That is not a recipe for success, no matter how you slice it. But like I said before, this is not just a Tim Walz issue. It is an American issue because there are so many people in Congress today who are just like this man. If Kamala Harris did not choose him as her VP, she would have chose somebody just like him that would say the exact same things he said. The only reason he was actually chosen is because he was trying to appeal to the young men of the world. And let's be honest, no man with testosterone wants to vote for a man who's flailing around, acting so flamboyant. We want strong policy that's going to put American citizens first. That's why Donald Trump has the following that he has. It's not because he's doing this to get rich or get more power or become a king like they say. He's doing this to put us first because we've been forgotten for decades, and Donald Trump says, listen, the Republicans are bad, the Democrats are bad, I'm sick of both of these parties, I'm going to go in there and actually put Americans first because they've been forgotten about for far too long. But another problem we have is that most Americans don't really pay attention to any of these videos. They don't know what's actually going on in Congress. They don't know the actual facts of the matter. They just regurgitate whatever CNN or MSNBC tells them. But guess what? Those news stations, quite simply, do not want the best for you and I. We need to start holding our elected leaders responsible. If your city is on fire and you do nothing about it, then you need to be held responsible. You need to answer for your inaction because you are putting many people's lives at risk unnecessarily. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down below. Who is your favorite Democrat today in Congress or Washington, D.C.? Let me know. I'd love to know your thoughts on that. Are there any sane ones left out there? I'd love to hear your opinions. And yeah, if you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like, comment, subscribe, and wish you guys nothing but the best. Until next time.